Hi, I'm Stacy, RN clinical trainer for Winrose Health Network. This is Tim. He's an LPN risk manager for Winrose.
Good morning. Today we want to show you about the items that are in a first aid kit. Common items, but not everybody has them around all the time, so we're just going to go through the list with you. So first of all, an absorbent compress, a 5x9 dressing.
This would be used if you had drainage, bleeding from an area. You would put it over to absorb the drainage. Then you could use this roll dressing to wrap around it to hold it in place out of your first aid kit. And then you could take some tape to hold the roll dressing in place over it.
So those are three items that you see in a common first aid kit and how they're used together.
And with the roll dressing and the tape, you might need to use the scissors that should be in your first aid kit as well.
The other things that are common in a first aid kit could be an adhesive bandage, also known as a Band-Aid to a lot of people.
They come in a variety of sizes and shapes. To fit any occasion.
Another thing that's common and useful is an antibiotic ointment. This is an item found in most first aid kits.
It might be like this, or you might have an individual package if you've bought a first aid kit. Either one works.
It helps prevent infections and also keeps the wound moist and promotes healing. Also, antiseptic wipes. That's also used to clean the wound before you dress it.
You might want to warn the person that it might sting a little bit because antiseptic can be a little stinging.
And another item in the first aid kit, aspirin. Aspirin's a common pain reliever.
But this is the low dose aspirin that you would give someone that was having symptoms of a heart attack.
A blanket. What do we need a blanket for?
We could use a blanket. If someone's injured, they could easily go into shock. So you can put a blanket on them to help prevent them from going into shock, to keep them warm.
These are like a foil blanket. Sometimes they're referred to as a space blanket because they reflect heat, light, and they're thermal. It's a thermal product. Okay, let's see here. Breathing barrier. Do we have one of those, Stacy?
We don't have a breathing barrier in our kit, but don't let lack of a breathing barrier stop you from doing chest compressions if you need to do that to save somebody. Just push on that chest fast and hard.
Instant cold compress.
We are minus an instant cold compress in our kit too, so you better write that down,
We're going to put that
Tim.
on our list of things we need. So we're going to encourage you to itemize your first aid kit. If you're missing things, then put it on a list and get those the next time you're at the pharmacy or a store that has those things. All right, very good. Gloves. Do we have some gloves?
Sure do have gloves. Gloves that come in a kit usually come as large because they'll fit anybody. If you have smaller hands, you might want to get something that fits you a little better.
And gloves are always good to have around anyway. Even beyond your first aid kit, sometimes people like to put them on before they clean the toilet or paint. So there's multiple uses for these gloves. So make sure you have a set in your first aid kit that fit you. Okay, hydrocortisone ointment or cream.
This is useful for some kind of bite or an irritation, redness on the skin. You can put hydrocortisone cream on it to help ease that.
Yes, and they also sometimes come in packets like the ointment for the antibiotic ointment. So you can purchase whatever suits the size of your first aid kit or suits your needs. Okay, we mentioned scissors already.
Yeah, we did. They come in useful for a lot of things, cutting dressings and such.
And they also, it's not that much. If you need to get a pair of scissors, these are fine for cutting the items that we've showed you already, but if you have to buy a set anyway, you might get some utility scissors. And the difference is, if you hypothetically, if you were up on an accident, you would never be able to cut somebody out of their car with these. But the utility scissors would cut a seat belt, for example, and they would also cut dressings like we're showing you here. Just something to think about if you're putting those on your list. Roller bandages, we talked about those, but they come in different sizes. Again, those are to affix a dressing to an injury, so you can wrap that around. If you didn't have a dressing, you could just use gauze and the rollers to improvise for some kind of a dressing there.
Gauze comes in different sizes.
That was our next item. So you want a variety of sizes and a fair number of those in your kit. A thermometer is also on the list.
Added to our list of things we need to pick
Okay.
up. It needs to be a non-mercury thermometer though. We don't want to have it breaking and polluting our environment with mercury.
And you might be even hard pressed to find that type of thermometer anymore. There's so many digital devices out there now that are accurate, convenient, and safe. So that's a good point. Triangular band-aids.
Triangular bandage can look like this. You can use this to make a sling, tie it around someone's neck to help.
Pointing into the elbow.
And then you would tie it behind their neck to help make a.
To immobilize the arm. This is actually a shower curtain, very much an improvised item, but they actually make triangular bandages already prepackaged. Maybe we should put that on our list too. We
Maybe.
won't always have the shower curtain available.
You can make them out of some sheets if you have some old sheets as well.
Right. I tried to get Stacy to let me use her lab coat, but she thought that wasn't a good idea, and I agree with her. Okay, next, tweezers.
You can use this to remove, you can use these to remove a splinter or such from somebody.
A note on these: if you're removing a stinger from a bee, you got to be really careful, because if you squeeze the stinger to remove it, you may actually inject more poison into the person's system.
Use the end of your antibiotic cream, something flat, credit card
Credit
works,
card's a good one.
and just kind of scrape them away for stingers.
Yep.
That avoids that.
You can Google that if you
Releasing.
want more information. There's YouTube videos on how to remove stingers.
What else is on our list?
Last but not least, first aid instruction book. We happen to have the Red Cross, American Red Cross instruction book here that we're actually using to inventory our first aid kit. It's got a lot of other tips and items in there: how to make an emergency plan, building the first aid kit, recommendations for getting trained in CPR.
If you're interested in learning more about first aid, contact your local American Red Cross to find a class.
Absolutely.